What's up, guys? Thank you for tuning in. My name's Connor. Today we're going to be talking about something very important. It is the 10-year plan. Now, I'm going to start off with a quote, which I've been doing this recently in most of my videos now. And this quote is, most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year, but they underestimate what they can do in 5 to 10 years. So these are some of the practices that I've built up for myself. Some of them are spiritual and some of them are just everyday normal things of what people would build in their life or use to stay young or anti-aging or whatever. And so if I'm looking away, it's because I have a huge list. I'll kind of dip into a couple things. I'm going to try to keep this 15 to 20 minutes, maybe a little less, but it's very, very big. Okay. This is probably one of the best videos that I'm going to do, and I'm going to tell you why I am inspired to create this video, and then I'll jump into this list and we'll get started. Now, the first thing that I want to do is talk about what are the benefits of doing this for 10 years, or even just consecutively, consistently, like self-discipline. So 3 things that I'm actually started developing in my life is self-discipline, electromagnetism, and knowledge. Those are the 3 things that I've recently built on very, very much. Okay, so self-discipline is disciplining yourself. So discipline is this is, I'm just going to give you the full definition: doing what you're supposed to do, whether you want to do it or not, because you know it's the right thing for you, or you know that it's going to give you an outcome that you are desiring. That is what discipline is. So you can put off a lot of the BS and then you can get your stuff done. Knowledge is acquiring things. So acquiring knowledge, whether it's knowledge, conscious knowledge, or whether it's unconscious knowledge, we're learning every single day through our subconscious mind. Anything that comes in, whether something's playing in the background, it's all being brought in to do that. Wisdom is a branch of knowledge, which is acquiring. It's the acquired knowledge and then its application on that acquired knowledge. That's what wisdom is, the application of the acquired knowledge. Okay, so that's something that I also talk about in a lot of my other videos. Electromagnetism, it's in your heart. Electromagnetism, when you actually are at a certain vibration or a certain electrical type way, a certain vibration or resonance, you're going to magnetically attract things to you. That means that you don't have to do anything. They're just going to come to you. All you have to say is yes, yes, yes. So that's what electromagnetism is. And so when you actually build these 3 things, what's going to actually happen is you're going to be able to transform your life. Now, what inspired me to do this 10-year video is to build on these 3 things. Okay, so I truly believe that when you make consistent progress and you compound a lot of things together that are going to amplify one another, that's when you're going to transform your life. Stay young forever. I also want to do this 10-year thing because I can totally see myself becoming a master of myself, a master of my body, my mind, and my soul, and mind-body connection, or mind-body-spirit connection. And so these are going to be a lot of things that connect in that. That is the kind of thing that I'm into. Sure, I do trading on the side. It's fun. It's enjoyable. But for the most part, I'm a personal trainer. I've been studying training and kinesiology for over 10 years. And I love it. I live and breathe it every morning. It's why I get up. Now, I would also say, find something that inspires you, and then write these things down. So there's also other quotes where it says doing 10,000 hours gives you self-mastery to something. I forget exactly what book that's from, but I've read that multiple places. But just imagine spending 1,000 hours doing these types of things. How good would you be? You would be you may not be an expert or a master, but you can definitely be a very ahead of the game individual, developing these types of practices. So what I plan on doing is doing these for 10 years consecutively, as little days off as possible. And people might be like, whoa, this is super blown out of proportion. How can you do something for 10 years? So and these are doubts, fears, things coming up. And that's fine, man. Like, hey, go ahead and doubt me, say what you want about me, but I'm a rapping machine. So let's jump into these things. Once you kind of see what I do with these types of things, you're gonna be like, whoa, okay, I can totally see that I can make my own list of what I should try to develop for the next 10 years. So for me, I just turned 26 yesterday, man. I feel like I'm 17 still. I still feel like I'm just a youngin. I'm a youngin, and I am very young, old soul, young body. So one thing that I wanted to do, I've been actually building this, and I've been kind of putting this video off, or just developing it or thinking about it. That's also what I do, is I'll meditate on different videos and make sure, like, yo, I want to put this out with the best possible content. So these are a bunch of practices that very much help me already, and by the time I'm 36, and I feel 25, and by the time I'm 36 and still feel 25, I want to be able to master these, so then I still feel 25 and I have 10,000 hours of mastery in these types of things. So the best thing to do is to measure it. You have to measure it. You have to make SMART goals. If you don't know what SMART goals are, look up SMART goals, and this will change your life. And you need to affirm yourself. You need to be specific. You need to be measurable. You need to be achievable or attainable. Okay? You need to be relevant with your goals. They can't be irrelevant goals, okay? And they need to be time-based. When you actually do these goals, this is when you transform your life. Then you use the OODA loop to center that and to affect that, make it more refined. That's really what the OODA loop, it refines it. It refines it, so then you could do 4 hours worth of work in 8 hours. So you could do 8 hours worth of work in 4 hours. See, that's what I'm saying, is most thing it's programmed into us to do a lot amount of work and a little amount of work in a lot of hours, when we could do a lot amount of work in a little amount of hours. So that's what I'm trying to get to. I'm also trying to prevent my screen time. This is actually going to be talked about in this video, is preventing your screen time, preventing all the time that you're online, but having it be quality time. Quality time. That's actually a love language, and once you actually can spend quality time with every person that you meet, including over the internet, in person, and with yourself, that's when you'll transform your life. Now let's jump in, instead of me, teasing you. So the first and foremost, man, meditation, okay? So all of these things I'm going to try to build 10 years over. There is no try. I am, and 10,000 hours is also one thing. So doing an hour or 2 hours a day or whatever is something very good. You guys may or may not agree with some of these, and that's fine. This is for me. It's not necessarily for you. You can make your own list. Doesn't mean that I'm wrong for my own life. Meditation. Okay, so this is going to go into deepening your practice with yourself, knowing who you are, deepening your relationship with yourself, so then you can actually come into the world and help as many people as possible. The next one I would say is breath work. Okay, so there's different types of breath work. Okay, if you're doing breath work wrong, you can actually be taking life force away from you, and this is generally what the general population is bringing us to, is trying to get your breathing out of sync. When you're breathing out of sync, you're actually going to be more stressed out, release more cortisol and more stress and adrenaline in your body when you don't know how to breathe. And that's why they put you in stressful situations, stressful work environments, terrible types of food. They put you in fear-based type mindsets, whatever. It's not even, I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of fear-based mindsets, Try to put me in that, The next one I would say is weight training. Heavy weight training specifically. You can do sarcoplasmic hypertrophy or hypertrophy, or however you want to say it. And I do myofibrillar, which is getting the density of your muscle, rather than, it doesn't have to be big or small or whatever, but I want actual muscle, not fluid in my muscle that makes it look like muscle. I want real muscle in my muscle. That's what myofibrillar is compared to sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. Now, calisthenics is the next one. I would actually put calisthenics before weight training. Make sure that you master your body, and handstands, push-ups, sit-ups, jumping jacks, jump rope, all of these types of things. You have to master your body before you can master anything outside of your body. That is the point of meditation as well, is when you go inside, then eventually when you go outside, you can be still. You could be still minded, and you're not going to be in a reactive state like, oh, that's wrong, or oh, that's right. It's just going to be like, just observe it. You're like, oh, well, that's them. Let them do what they want to do. They're going to act that way, and I'll act this way, and whatever. Next one is force yoga, or learning the force, or hatha yoga. Hatha means force, and when you actually do certain yoga poses, you actually become in sync with your chi, which is going to be talked about very soon. Chi, you have spirals on your hands, you have a spiral in your scalp, okay, you have spirals on your feet, and your body is divine. I don't want to get too much into this, but when you actually move a certain way, you can acquire energy through your hands, through your feet, through your head, and ground it with your perineum. When you actually ground your energy, you can live years and years longer, okay? The next one I want to talk about is Kundalini training. Kundalini is an energy that is dormant in your bottom chakra, and actually when you become more and more developed in your spiritual practice, you might actually experience a lot of Kundalini spikes. When you have a lot of Kundalini spikes, it'll have you guessed it, a spiral. A spiral will go all the way up through your head, and it's gonna wash you. And this is actually considered a baptism spiritually, when your energy cleanses all of its old, detrimental, dirty energy. Now, we were raised and programmed a certain way, to believe a certain way, to act a certain way, and I'm actually going to be doing a video about this very soon. But when we actually can get this energy to heighten and actually elevate our energy, we'll cleanse all of our old self. And that's why they're like, I've shed my old self, I put on a new self. Like biblically, that's why they say that, is because they've legit cleansed themselves, their body. Remember, the body's the temple. If you're living in a dirty temple, then you're only going to get dirty outcomes. But if you cleanse that temple, then what you're going to do is you're actually going to have a whole new pure way of looking at life. So yeah, guys, the next one I'm going to be talking about is Kriya. Okay, I'm not going to get too much into this. I'm going to start actually going down because I have a ton. Kriya yoga, Bikram yoga, Qigong, or Qi accumulation, Qi. Okay, so there's a way that your body actually moves, and you can actually move energy through your hands. You have both a feminine and a masculine side. I don't know if I did that right, whatever, but you have both a feminine and a masculine side, a positive and a negative side, electromagnetism. And so you have electromagnetism that goes like this, but you also have electromagnetism that goes like this, and that's what creates 3D reality. Okay, that's truly like you are a circle. That's how you can hear, but you can also think, and you can also see, and that's a 3D cross. 3D cross going through your head. When you open up this portion of your shin, is what they say in the Tao. When you open up shin, you can actually do, it's consciousness. That's really what it is. Being conscious of self, being conscious of what you are, being conscious of what you do, how you act, how you're being. Consciousness in general, conscious of your consciousness. So when you actually do this is building your chi. And when you actually transform your chi and bring your chi all the way up, you become more of a genius, you become more divine, you become more intellectual. Things just happen quicker, less time-based type things, which is more the 3D reality, and it goes more to a 5D reality, which is unison. You shed time aspects, you shed money aspects, and you become more energy. In the way that you're living, you want to build more energy and conserve a lot of energy, which is going to be talked about as well. But Qigong is one of the very important things. It's important for martial arts. This is literally how, in the 1984 film, The Karate Kid, 1984, The Karate Kid, he learned Chi before he was able to take down those people that would always pick on him. Same with the new Karate Kid film, which was, I think, in 2010. So, sorry, a little hiccups. Developing Chi, so that's really one. But also, you want to develop Chi, you want to understand it, but you also want to accumulate Chi. It's energy. There's energy always around us in this unified field. And when you actually can ground it in you, you can bring it into you and actually develop it, cultivate it. That's when you become like a freaking beast, you know what I mean? And you become stronger. Like, I mean, men, your testosterone grounds, like you become dense beings, like um very dense beings. Look at Bradley Cooper in some of his beginning films, and then look at Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born, and you can actually see his voice and his chin and like his whole head gets actually kind of bigger. And I'm not like, he's a beautiful man, but what he's doing is cultivating chi energy, accumulating it. Okay, this is like multiple people have done this. Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. Check him out in Black Panther. Same type of head, same type of concept. It's because their masculinity, their testosterone is grounded. Women, this will make you more feminine. This will bring your feminine nature out. This will make you be so attractive, so attractive. And your Kundalini energy will be natural. My Kundalini is acting up right now because I'm just speaking truth, and I'm inspired, passionate to bring this to people. And whether people listen or not, I'm going to keep talking. I'm going to keep bringing this to people because there are 8 billion people in the world. I don't have time for the naysayers and for the people who tell me that I can't. I will show you that I can. I will be there to tell you that I can. And this isn't for you. This isn't for you if it's not that way. First of all, life is too short for us to be, so in wanting to be liked by so many other people. I'm here for a purpose, and then I'm gonna bounce. So this is my purpose, is to inspire people to raise the consciousness of the world. Now, cardio, hit cardio and jump roping or endurance. I don't do a lot of like steady state because there's just a different type of hormonal output that's put out on your body. I'm going to talk about that in an upcoming one, which is hormonal manipulation through the foods that you eat. So you want to manipulate the hormones in your body by the foods that you eat. Now it's happening whether you want it to or not. Everything that you put in your mouth is manipulating your hormones to a certain way. Once I started actually eating like Itaue, which is like how Tori Washington eats, or other types of vegans, plant-based. It's not even vegan. Vegans can eat Skittles, man. I'm a plant-based being. I don't eat BS. I don't put BS in my DNA. I eat very clean food because I want to be as strong and as strong-willed as possible, and as willing to bring this message. I want my head to be on straight as possible, and my heart to be as open as possible, and my body to be as strong as possible. Cardio, jump roping, hit cardio, even just running sometimes. I don't run all the time, but I really like 20-30 minutes of cardio. The next one is the conservation of energy. This is one of my ultimate favorite topics to talk about. When you actually know how to conserve your energy, when you actually can condense the energy into your being, you can hold on to it. We are mostly hemorrhaging our energy, like, oh, we always have to work more, we always have to rush more, we always have to do more and more and more and more and more work. And if you're not doing that, then you're not on your path, or you're not doing right. This is the American dream. It's because you have to be asleep. You have to be asleep to believe in it. Okay? Wake up. We don't always have to be working all the time. Okay? We don't need to be working all the time. We are sovereign divine beings. We can sit right here, right now, and do nothing and be enlightened. Okay? It's more by us being distracted that prevents the enlightenment of many human beings, and also causes most suffering in most human beings, is by doing more and more and distracting ourselves more and more, thinking ourself is outside of us, thinking ourself is in another person, thinking ourself is in the stuff that we own, or how we're portrayed, or whatever. This is some real stuff. I'm sure that 90% of people have already either tuned out of this video. So if you are listening to this now, you are definitely a light worker. You are definitely somebody that's here called to do something great, okay? And so what we actually have to get to is we have to get to the point where we can transform multiple people, okay? But the only way that we could do that is by transforming ourselves, okay? Journaling. Journaling is an amazing one. What gets measured gets managed. I remember when I first listened to this quote, it changed my whole entire life, and I started journaling. It's by Brandon Carter, and I also joined his personal training thing. He has taught me how to make a business out of personal training, so thank you there. Also, journaling, one thing that journaling actually does is when you can measure something, you know what went right. You know what you know what went right, but you also know what went wrong. So when you actually know that, then you know what to make the next choice of. But if you don't measure it, then what's actually going to happen is you might make the same mistake 10 more times. Or you might not be able to double down, and you might keep making the same complacent decisions. The next one I'm going to talk about is simplicity and minimalism. When you have so much stuff around you, I've done many videos on minimalism. I'm going to do many more. But when we actually can develop minimalism as a practice, when we don't need stuff, when we are, because we recognize that we are everything. We are everything around us. We are all the people that we know. We are all the things that we own. But we're not just those things, but we are those things, if that makes any sense. So minimalism, what it does is, because this stuff takes energy, when you have no stuff, the things that we end up owning tend to end up owning us. All right. So when you don't own things, they don't end up owning you. It's a catch-22. And by owning less stuff, we actually become the ownership of life, of ourselves, and truly can embody that. But most of these distractions take energy from us. Okay. Now, the next one I want to talk about is Vipassana training, which is silence meditation or silence training. So very soon, I'm actually going to be doing a silence meditation where I am silent for 3 to 10 days, depending on, I work, so I do have to talk sometimes. So there's times between Zoom calls and between connections that I will actually take 3 days off where I won't speak for 72 hours or whatever. And this is reflection. This helps you reflect. It helps you actually guide yourself to what you're going to speak next. If we actually are silent for 3 days, what happens is that after that third day, you know how to speak. You know how to talk. You know how to approach people. You know how to approach yourself. The next one is solitude. Solitude is a very big thing. One of the biggest things that I've learned from Nikola Tesla, he says that being alone is the key to being an inventor, or being in your inventions, like learning inventions. And so like you are an inventor, whether you actually are building something or whether you're building a business or whatever, you are building something. And to be alone is to know who you are. If we're in the crowd, we're always going to be moving our energy through multiple people, which means that you don't know who you are. You're a mix of all of these types of things. You're a smudge of spirit or a smudge of energy, and you're like, oh, I'm partly that person, I'm partly this person. So solitude helps you develop you. Next one is cold showers and ice baths. So these are things that I'm actually going to be doing for 10 years, a 10-year plan. So cold showers and ice baths. Ice baths are very good because it actually develops brown fat on your body. When you have brown fat on your body, what actually happens is this builds more and more strength and consumes more calories. So you have yellow fat, which is what people think of as belly fat or whatever, and that adds up. Brown fat is something that you want to build, okay? So brown fat is on the back of your shoulders and it comes down to your chest. And what this does is it consumes calories. It speeds up your metabolism. You know that one kid in high school that ate as much as he wanted, but he kept losing weight? That guy had an ultimate amount of brown fat. And this can happen. This can develop in any human being. It's not like he is genetically gifted, but you can improve your genetics. You're not a set in stone type of being. Next one I want to talk about is acquiring knowledge, reading books, watching CEO interviews, not listening to bullshit, not listening to politics, not listening to half the people on your social media. Get on your social media, do your business, and don't jump off. That's it. That's all we really need to do. We don't need to do half the bullshit that we're generally in. Okay, it's we have a limited time here. Let's use this quality time. It's a love language. Next one is developing that and integrating wisdom. So one thing I was talking about earlier in this video is when we acquire knowledge, what we actually do is we just keep it there. Ooh, spit. We just keep it there. We acquire knowledge and we don't do anything with it. Now, building wisdom, integrating wisdom is taking that acquired knowledge and then applying it in your life over and over and over again. This is what this 10-year plan is all about, is doing shit for 10 years. Like, I just turned 26 yesterday, and when I'm 36, I want to be able to do 10,000 hours of every one of these things that I'm listing. And I know that it's going to take effort. I know it's going to take self-discipline, but I want to integrate that, and I want to inspire as many people to come with me. So integrating wisdom, apply the stuff that you learn. Don't just have it be stored up. Mastering electromagnetism. So you're electric, man. Like you have a heart, you have a soul, you have a mind. So these things are electric in nature, and when you can use these things just draw themselves based on the law of attraction to you. When you put yourself in the right positions, the right situations, those things just draw towards you. Next one I want to talk about is learning languages. Okay, so we have a huge language barrier across the countries. When we have a huge language barrier between countries, many people tend to not believe other people. But when you actually inspire yourself to learn more languages, when you actually inspire yourself to learn more things, to be able to communicate with other people who are outside your ethnicity or race or whatever, what actually happens is you can communicate with them and they feel respected. They feel honored that you actually took the time out of your years or your day or whatever to be able to communicate in their language. They'll respect you a lot more for it. And it also makes you more diverse. It makes you a more diverse being. Then you're able to go to countries and other types of things and be confident that you can take care of yourself. Next one I want to talk about is singing and rapping. So this one's like, these are personal to me. So, you might not have to do all of these things, but when you sing, you are within a certain vibration. You are singing, prolonging your breathing. It's breath practice. It's chanting practice. It's humming practice. It's tone practice, pitching. And that's why they call it pitching when you're pitching, because your voice creates sound. It's a pitch. So singing and rapping, when you actually learn how to sing properly, it elevates your energy and it attracts more things. And also, it's just a great practice to learn. Imagine everything is a martial art. Imagine everything is something that you must self-master, that you must master and become very, very high quality at. Once we can do that, then that's when we get the butter on the bread. You know what I mean? So chanting is a good one too. So chanting, I'll or I'll do other types of things. This gets you in a high vibration. And people always are like, Connor, you were born a Christian, you can't chant? That doesn't, where does it say that you can't chant? Where does it say that you can't use your voice or use your ohms or hum or sing? Where does it say that? Memory training. So memory training is a great one. This is my 10-year plan. These are things that I want to build over 10,000 hours, 10 years and beyond, Memory training. When you actually build memory, when you practice memory training, what's going to actually happen is you'll be able to remember a lot of stuff, and people are going to be like, whoa, dude, whoa, how did you remember that? Well, I am practicing an eidetic memory, so whether I get it in this life or another life, and whether you believe that or not, when you actually practice memorizing every single detail of a room or every single detail of what someone's wearing or what you're wearing or whatever. Why I wear simple clothing is to not care about what I'm wearing. It doesn't matter about me. It matters about you. I'm here for you. I'm here to help you. Okay? I'm not this body. I'm not my mind. I'm what's beyond that. Observing that. The awareness behind that. And that awareness has recognized that I must help the human being. Okay, so memory training. When you actually learn how to memorize stuff, practice stuff, one way that you can develop memory training is this. Read something that you want to memorize 20 minutes when you wake up and 20 minutes before you go to sleep, because you're in theta states. You might even be in delta states too, where you're very groggy and tired, depending on when you woke up. But this integrates it more into your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind runs 95% of all of your daily things. Even right now, it's a subconscious type of thing. So make sure when you're doing memory training to integrate something 20 minutes before you go to sleep and 20 minutes when you wake up. Next one I want to talk about is sound therapy 432 hertz music, 963 hertz music, Tibetan singing bowls. Oming goes in with this. Anything sound oriented, listening to certain music, listening to certain beats, lo-fi beats, whatever. Everything is a tone or a sound, and so what you're doing is you're attracting certain things to you. When you attract those things to you, when they're already on their way to you, oh, I love that one. That one's my favorite because it means that it's just coming towards me. When you put yourself in certain tones or certain sounds or vibrations, there's a resonance with that. I post about this all the time. When you have a certain electrical point, everything is going to attract towards that based on the law of attraction, and the resonance of what that electrical point is resonating at. And when you speed that electrical power up, more and more and more abundance moves towards that point. So be that point. You are that point. You are the point of reference. So when you actually tune in with your own energy and then you say, okay, I want to build this as much as possible, then what's going to happen is you're going to shed all of the things that aren't you. You are here to not only find what you're supposed to do to fulfill your purpose. We are a purpose, but we also have a purpose. When we actually build on that energy, what's going to happen is we're going to be able to move closer to our purpose by shedding all of the stuff that's not us and becoming more of the thing that is us. I'm almost done. Probably have about 10 more things. Thank you guys for all the people that have tuned in. First and foremost, thank you. Next one I'm going to be talking about is affirmations, SMART goals, and prayer. Now, I did talk about SMART goals a little bit earlier, but affirmations, when you actually have more and more and more affirmations, I am, I can, I'm able, I'm confident, I'm strong-willed, I'm intelligent, I am a genius, I am divine. I say these every single day. That's why they're like subconscious programming, man. And so that's also one, neuro-linguistic programming or subconscious programming. Or if you've been programmed a certain way to believe a certain way, it could even be subconscious reprogramming. Okay, you might have to reprogram your mind. So if you want any more content on that, DM me, message me. But affirmations, saying that you can do something, reaffirming your subconscious mind that you can integrate it, you can build on it. Okay, you're not a set being. You're actually building yourself every second of every day. That's what karma is action. So when you have a lack of action, then you're going to have a lack of things that grow to you. But when you have more and more action, things are just going to gravitate towards you. Next one I want to talk about is light food eating light food, micro and macronutrients, lean bulking, micro cutting, DNA activation training, extreme sports training, martial arts training. You also want to eat as nutritionally dense as possible. So not only do you want to eat as healthy as possible, but you want to prevent anything that's negative as much as possible. Because what this is going to do is it's going to allow more light to stay or to be inside of your DNA, inside of your genetic codes. Okay, so by the food that we eat, it fills in these little gaps of the genetic code of your biology. And when you actually can tune in with that, that's how you build on your DNA. How you stay young and anti-aging for years. All right, guys, so I got about 5 more. Limiting pointless stuff. So this also kind of goes in with food, but it also goes in with you are more than just what you eat. You are what you digest. You are what you take into your mind. You are also what you consume, anything. Any type of content. And so when you prevent any pointless or negligible or worthless type content for your being, what you're going to do is you're going to be able to move closer towards what is worthy. Okay? What is energetic? What fills your cup up? What fills you up? What lights your lighthouse on fire? What saves that ship out at sea? Next is ask yourself this question. What is pointless and not needed in my life? What is pointless and not needed in my life? Because you can't find out. You can't be like, oh, this is pointless and this isn't, unless you've asked that type of question. simplifying your business and becoming more effective in the way that you do business. So instead of working 12 hours or 15 hours or 24 hours or 18 hours for your business and just being a workaholic, what if you could do 6 hours worth of work and live ultra happy and have more and more time for yourself, 18 hours to yourself, okay? That's what I mean. Spending quality time on the internet. Right now, I mean, I haven't been on the internet today, on my phone today, other than this video or communicating with my mentors or other communicating with my leaders or leadership or my clients. Something effective, something that's going to build you, okay? This is super important, okay? And I know that this is the latter half of the video, but man, I could put this as my first one still. See, that's what it is I have about 15 to 20, 25 things on here that I'm going to do for 10 years. I'm going to do it for 20, 30 for my life. But this is the first goal, first big rock goal, where it's like, do something for 10 years and succeed. And then, like, how many people have put in something for a year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? You know, when you do this stuff consistently, discipline, that's when you'll change. All right? And your energy will amplify. People will recognize. They might not recognize it when I'm 25 or 26 or whatever. They're not going to recognize it now. They might recognize it at 36 when, you know, say that they look a certain type of way and they're like, whoa, you still look super young or whatever. You know what I mean? So that's what we have to get to. All right. Simplifying screen time. So this is also tying in with my previous one, which is doing things more effectively, simplifying your business. Simplifying your screen time. You don't need to be endlessly scrolling on Facebook or being obsessed with TikTok or whatever. Just do your things and then get off and then spend time in the real world. This is the real world around us, guys. This isn't the real world on phones, okay? Some of it is. Some of it is a means to be able to communicate a lot better, more effectively, quicker, more instant gratification. So that is not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is the pointless stuff. You know, playing endless games. Playing endless games with yourself. Last two is spending time in nature more. So nature, everything in nature is divine. Everything is beautiful and divine in nature. And so when we actually know how to integrate ourselves, breathe fresh air, get fresh, great sunlight, move up to the mountains and get some alone time. Moving out in nature more is something that is like a huge hack and something that I wish to do for the next 10 years. Last one I want to say is effectively journaling. I did say journaling earlier, but effectively journaling instead of 90% of what isn't needed. So what do I mean by this? I mean that when you do journal, write all the things, write your mood down, write your energy down, write what made you happy, what made you sad, journaling all the things that you need to do for your clients, doing all the things that you need to do for your business or whatever, and then being done, doing your calendar or whatever. And when you actually do journaling more effectively, you're going to be a more effective person because you are measuring and then you can manage it. Okay, so you're measuring it better, which means that you can manage it better. If it doesn't get measured, it doesn't get managed. Thank you guys so much. This is the 10-year plan, something that I plan on doing for 10 years. Yes, it is going to take a huge, rigorous amount of self-discipline, of knowledge, of acquiring knowledge, applying wisdom. It is going to take a lot of electromagnetism or force from me. But also with me putting in this force, there's a thing that's called karma, or do unto others as you would do to yourself. And when you actually put out a lot of force, that comes back to you 10, 20-fold, 10x, 20x, 30x, 40x back, and it fills your cup up that much more. So I'm super inspired to bring this to you guys. Thank you guys for all the people that tuned in. I'm super grateful to you, even if you only watched for a brief period of time. I wish that this helped you a lot. Again, my name's Connor. I would ask that you follow me, subscribe, whatever you guys want to do. Much love. Take care. Namaste. Peace.